The most anticipated earnings releases for the week of May 27, 2024. Presented by earningswhispers. It is a holiday-shortened week in the US, and with the typical slow Friday for this time in the quarter, we will cram in the 100 or so companies reporting earnings in just 3 days. Remember I mentioned 3D Systems recently? They still haven't scheduled earnings, and the stock hovers just over its all-time lows. Now, it seems earnings will be pushed out into June for the first time in the company's history, but we still don't know when the company will report. While it is a holiday in the US on Monday, it isn't a holiday in Canada, and CAE will report later in the day. The company already told us they are going to report weak results, so you probably won't miss much, except the stock is setting up to potentially break to new lows. On Tuesday, we'll get results from CAVA Group, which is pushing to new highs as it announces its earnings. Earnings estimates are also at new highs going into the announcement, which supports the move, and now the company just needs to support the revisions. Digital Turbine also reports after the close on Tuesday, but it has the opposite story as CAVA. Last week, we had results from NVIDIA, the godfather of AI, as Wedbush's Den Ives calls it. And Wednesday will be most about the AI capos. First up is Salesforce, which was one of the early providers of AI services to their business clients. But while the company beat the consensus estimate last quarter, they missed the earnings whisper, and this resulted in downward estimate revisions as it put in doubt the company's ability to turn that AI into earnings. Meanwhile, what we've primarily learned is that it just might not be time yet for the AI software names, and C3 AI has seen its earnings basically flatline for the past couple of years, which explains why the stock has been trading in a range during the same period and is right back where it was just over 2 years ago. Costco isn't an AI story, and in fact, they've specially said they haven't figured out yet how to make AI work for them. But they still seem to be doing okay as consumers favor wholesale clubs as a way to offset inflationary pressures, and the group takes market share from the rest of retail. With Costco being the leader, the stock pushed to new highs at the end of last week, ahead of its earnings after the close on Thursday. Don't worry, though. There are still AI stories on Thursday. Most notably, Dell reports. It might be my imagination, but every time there is a public appearance of NVIDIA's Jensen, Michael Dell is right there. Dell may very well be the underboss, and the company continues to be rewarded. On Friday, we'll get results from BRP and Genesco. For the most part, the option-implied moves for the companies reporting earnings this week are in line with their recent moves. Of course, there are some exceptions, including Ambarella, which isn't really on many people's radar this week. Last quarter, the company was expected to miss estimates but surprised with a modest beat. Still, the underlying weak trends prevailed, and the stock moved down to new lows. This time around, expectations are for a modest beat, but that doesn't mean the fundamental trends are expected to now improve. Looking further into June, FedEx reports late in the month, but it is still a light calendar. It will fill up more, of course, but not a lot. Next week, Oracle should tell us they are going to report the following week, but until they say so, they aren't on this calendar.
Shh.